You feel it, don't you? The chaos, the anger, the constant sense of division that feels like it's tearing everything apart. You turn on the news, you scroll through your feed, and it's a non-stop war. Not a war with guns and tanks, but a war of words, of culture, of us versus them. We blame the politicians, we blame the media, we blame social media algorithms for feeding us hate. We argue until we're exhausted, convinced that if we could just get the other side to see reason, everything would be okay. But what if we're fighting the wrong battle? What if the chaos we see on our screens isn't the real disease, but just a symptom of something much deeper? A 2,000-year-old intelligence document says the source of our chaos isn't in Washington or Silicon Valley. It's spiritual, and it warns that in the last days, humanity itself would become dangerous. Let's open the briefing. The Apostle Paul, writing to his protege Timothy, gave him a stark intelligence forecast. He wasn't describing a political opponent. He was profiling the very spirit of the age that would precede the end times. He wrote in 2 Timothy chapter 3, "But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days." The Greek word for terrible times there is chalapos. It doesn't just mean difficult, it means violent, fierce, and dangerously savage. Paul is saying that the very nature of society will become aggressively hostile. He then gives a precise checklist of this dangerous spirit. And as I read this, ask yourself if it sounds familiar. He says people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud. That's the engine of our modern culture of narcissism and status. He says they will be disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving. This points to a breakdown of the most basic bonds of society: family, gratitude, and mercy. Then the list gets darker. Slanderous without self-control, brutal. That is a perfect description of our online world, a digital mob with a spirit of slander, where cancel culture and vicious personal attacks are now normal. This isn't about blame, it's about clarity. It's about understanding the battlefield. Because the most critical part of this intelligence briefing is Paul's final point. He says people will be lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. This is the master key. It describes a society that hasn't necessarily abandoned religion, but has made it hollow. A culture that prioritizes comfort and entertainment above all else, with a faith that looks right on the outside but lacks the true transformative power to change how people actually live or treat their enemies. When you have a society that loves itself, loves money, loves pleasure, and has a powerless form of religion, you get exactly what we have now: chaos. So, if the problem isn't just political, then the solution can't be either. Winning an election won't fix this. Because, as Paul writes in another Intel briefing, Ephesians chapter 6, "Our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the powers of this dark world and against the spiritual forces of evil." We are fighting ghosts, the politicians, the media, the angry relative on Facebook. They are not the real enemy. They are just the hosts. The real battle is against the spiritual forces that fuel the pride, the slander, and the love of self. So how do you fight an enemy you can't see? You don't fight it with more politics. You fight it with spiritual intelligence. It means recognizing that when you feel that surge of outrage online, you might be engaging with more than just a bad opinion. It means choosing forgiveness when the spirit of the age tells you to hold a grudge. It means turning off the noise and pursuing what is true and noble when the world wants to distract you. This is the real front line, not in a voting booth, but in your own heart, in your own home. So next time you feel that chaos rising, don't just react, Recognize the battle and fight it where it really counts. Let me know if this helped you see things differently. Like, comment, and subscribe for more biblical intel.